Hello there, we're going to be looking at ways to get started in Call of Cthulhu today. Perhaps you have picked up a scenario for Halloween and now have the taste for mystery, murder and mayhem. Or perhaps you have just heard fleeting rumours about players going mad and turning a shotgun on the whole party and you want to know more. It is not always clear what each product is for, and there are many entry-level products for Call of Cthulhu, and the differences between them sometimes very vague for new players, and they're left struggling to understand the differences between how to enter the hobby and move forward from there. So hopefully this will be for you starting out, and you can find the right place to start for your level. So without further ado, here's a breakdown of the core sort of introduction products for Call of Cthulhu, and we're going to start with the starter set. The starter set is for the novice keeper and the total beginner. This picks up 4 scenarios for you on the cheap for only $10 for the PDF, and it is well worth investing that if you are new to the system and you're new to GMing altogether, as it really handholds you, taking you from a solo adventure and starts to build up confidence and skills or toolkits you'll need as a GM to run an adventure within the Call of Cthulhu system. Each scenario in turn will level up your GMing chops as you sort of progress from that solo adventure into a simple 2-player scenario called Paper Chase. This is a very low-key scenario that focuses on the mood and tone and the investigation and really lets you learn the system without being overwhelmed with 5 or 6 players. Afterwards, you are given 2 classic scenarios that have some hand-holding in it, but it is toned down, and these are far more structured as normal scenarios would be. And by the end of it, you come out feeling like you've progressed and have good knowledge on how to run the system and be a GM in general. It is an excellent starting point if you feel you need that sort of hand-holding. Next up is Gateway to Terror. This is a book which offers 3 short introductory games for the novice player and beginner GM. Within you'll find short tastes of Call of Cthulhu with different locations and settings, which will give limited coaching for you to move the story forward should you become stuck. However, these are mainly focused on giving novice players or new players to roleplay even in general, small introductory to the system and the moods and tones that are played within Call of Cthulhu, as they're fairly different to other RPGs. They can run for about an hour or 2 with an experienced GM that wishes to run those introductory games, and with short run times, it's just enough to give a person a sort of taste and not frighten them away with a 5-hour game, and gives them something they might be willing to more dip their toes into. Should you be left a player short in your normal game and want to try something new, or as I said, trying to bring someone into the hobby who is brand spanking new and doesn't want to be overwhelmed or take up too much time. Doors to Darkness is another book which expands on the how-to explanation of Call of Cthulhu, offering minimum guidance within the 5 scenarios and touches on the unique experience that the keeper and the players are going to have, how it is not like other RPGs, which is a common theme for these starter advice books. I wouldn't recommend this as a starting place until you've tried out either the quick start or the starters kit. That said, they can all be done in one session about 4 to 5 hours. I've had a unique experience with Door to Darkness. I actually was taken through all of them by a novice keeper, and I have to say there is places where it's left wanting. Questions are left unanswered for a beginner keeper. So take it with a pinch of salt, and this should be your end goal after you've done the starter kit and perhaps a few other odds and sods. But all in all, it's well worth picking up. The 5 scenarios are pretty good, and you can find breakdowns of all of them on my channel if you watch to have a little listen and find out the pros and cons of each. And then we get to the quick rules and the haunting. This is really for experienced GMs and groups from other systems that are looking to try out Call of Cthulhu. The haunting is built to introduce the players and the keepers to the ideas and the themes of the systems in a fairly militant way. But it already assumes you are playing RPGs and won't hold your hand when it comes to descriptions or even giving you too many tips on how to play the game or how it might be ran. It takes you through the quick rules, lets you create simple PCs, and off you go. There aren't any pre-gens here, as they assume you'll be wanting to create your own character, as that's part of the fun for more experienced players. The Haunting is your comforting test drive into the descent of madness, and being the very first scenario ever written for Call of Cthulhu First Edition, it has been creating fans for 4 decades. There is no scenario better tested than this to turn the curious gamer into the hardcore fan. And then we get on to the Keeper's Rulebook and the Keeper's Screen. These are obviously the core backbone of the actual system, and I would recommend that experienced GMs looking to customize and homebrew from the start just start with these books. The Keeper's Rulebook contains 2 scenarios, the first being Amidst the Ancient Trees, and the second being one of my very favourites, the Crimson Letters. Both these scenarios are fairly sandbox in nature and are a good framework in which to elaborate your own machinations and add your own group style to them, and you can basically build from here using this as a good foundation. I'm throwing in the Keeper Screen pack here too, as it offers 2 other scenarios along the same initial vein in a more open sandbox style that will allow more experienced GMs and keepers to really flex their own creative spirits and tailor it to that group. These 2 products, I would say, are the core backbone of the system, and from these 4 scenarios you'll be well on your way to learning how to create your own homebrew Call of Cthulhu scenarios in no time at all. And next up is Pulp. Pulp is technically a settings book, but it does flip the system on its head and gives you a whole new way of playing it. You will need the Keeper's Rulebook to play this, along with the Pulp book. However, I feel this is a perfect start for the D&D player who still wants to be the hero and save the day. This includes 4 scenarios that are tuned to be over the top and far more colourful than the vanilla Call of Cthulhu, and it seems very popular indeed, with these stories being fast-paced, manic and action-packed. Is recommended for players who dislike dying and being the everyman and want to take on the role of that archetype hero, beating back the mythos and going toe-to-toe with them. I recommend this for everyone who feels that they're being treated unfairly when the big bad comes along and just hammers them into the ground without like a thought for them. This is not existential horror. This is a level playing field for them to test their mettle and come out victorious. And that brings us to the end of our starter sets for Call of Cthulhu. There is something for every level of experience offered here, and if these are too expensive, make sure to check out my video on how to play Call of Cthulhu for free and explore the free offerings from Choasium and more. Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed this video, click that like and subscribe button for more content. And with that, I'll see you again next time.